everything. I feel better. I know I look better. Yeah, I think everything.
Shedeur, we are going to get a quick little drop back here. They're showing pressure, drop back, wheel route down the sideline, drops us into a bucket towards the sideline for Gage. Love this play. So again, this route concept is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be tough to see. Let me move my camera over here. But the first thing you're going to notice is a late release at a Gage. We're going to kind of slow our step. Another day here for the Cleveland Browns training camp. Shador Sanders getting some big time reps in today's practice, and you're going to see him here finding Luke over the middle of the field for a nice little...
Shador Sanders has proven the skeptics wrong, and he used his arm the only way it meant anything. After weeks of talk about reps, hierarchy, and whether he even belongs in this conversation, Shador Sanders showed up for training and had one of his best days as a pro. He said later that he felt fine, and it is easy to understand why after seeing this done. This wasn't just a low-key, forgettable session that he didn't screw up. That was a statement. When he stepped onto the field with the first-team offense, he quieted a lot of the rumors that have surrounded Shador Sanders since he entered the league. Numbers tell a story. Shador Sanders completed 10 of the 13 passes he threw in team drills, giving him the best reps record of any player on the team at the end of the day. Not a humble day. That quarterback is smart, reads the field well, and makes confident decisions. In a competitive environment where every single representative is scrutinized, and fans and analysts alike are looking through every throw for evidence to support their preconceived notions about him, Shedeur Sanders went out and let his play speak for itself. He was singing on the first play, and he threw a couple of passes that caught the attention of coaches. Imagine what that completion percentage would look like in a team setting in the real world. So it wasn't 7-on-7, and there wasn't a rush. It also wasn't a designed red zone time when routes are called specifically to hit soft coverage. There were team drills with real pass rushes, real secondary disguises, and real repercussions for bad decisions. In that environment, 10 out of 13 is the sort of number that travels fast in a building. But no matter what's said publicly, it starts to change how a quarterback is discussed internally when the coaches and teammates see it. It started early. Shador Sanders started his 11-on-11 work with a completion under heavy pressure. There was no time to look the field over properly. Shador Sanders had to decide quickly. The defense was closing fast, bodies coming at him from several angles. He backed up just enough to see over the rush and threw the ball through a throng of defenders to his receiver instead of panicking or running out of the pocket. What really stood out was the timing. Sanders threw it when the defender lost a half step of leverage, and he completed it despite the receiver being covered as well. You have to develop that sort of anticipation over time. It's from repetition. It's from watching film. It's from a quarterback believing what he sees. We're going to do a little drop play, so this route concept again slows us down. But he wasn't finished. Shador Sanders was leaning back into pressure again as the pocket collapsed around him on the day's next big throw. The protection scheme broke down as the play developed, but he saw an opening down the right sideline and dropped a perfect pass into the hands of Gage Larvadain. That ball was thrown so perfectly, there was no way a defender could catch up to it. It was a throw that looked like a statement in real time and added to the growing feeling that Shador Sanders has been there and done that before and can do it again at any moment. Then the throw to Malachi Cly. The pocket around Shador Sanders fell apart, and he had to lean back under pressure again. But instead of trying to jam something into a tight window, he saw Corley working ahead of the defense and threw it right to him for another completion. 3 different scenarios, 3 different throws, and Shador Sanders displayed the same characteristic in each, keeping your cool in pressure situations. At this level, quarterbacks who can't handle pressure get exposed fast. But the great QBs who succeed in those conditions differentiate themselves. But on this particular day, Shador Sanders seemed to be the latter, which makes it all the more impressive in context. Shador Sanders has been working with a mix of personnel, including backups, rather than a completely stable group of starters around him every day. Still, in that setup, he looked sharp, decisive, and in control of the huddle. The upcoming joint training sessions against the Buffalo Bills will give Shador Sanders an even greater chance to prove this wasn't a one-off performance. Practicing together, there's a whole new level of intensity, new defensive schemes, new opponents, and more attention. Together, they test a quarterback in ways regular camp reps cannot. If Shador Sanders can sustain the same rhythm in that setting, it would answer the bigger question of whether he's truly ready to be handed the keys to this offense. There is a basic human element to this that should not be overlooked. It says something about the mindset to compete for a starting spot while rotating in with backups, to take in criticism from the outside world almost every day and still walk onto the practice field with the poise to string together throws like these. Pressure has a way of revealing the true character of a player when the cameras and the background noise fade away. Shador Sanders played loose, trusted his reads, and let his talent take over in the face of that pressure that particular day. Teams looking for who can run an NFL offense want that answer. It is worth stopping here before proceeding. If you've been following this quarterback competition closely, you already know how quickly the narrative can change from practice to practice. That's exactly why you need to stay tuned to this channel. Here, every throw, every rep count, every bit of insider reporting is dissected, so you never have to trust a headline that tells half the story. Tell us what you think of this performance in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want to be the first to know when anything's going on. And when the games start counting, let us know who you think should be under center. This competition is still wide open, and all the developments will be followed here. But the picture wouldn't be complete without addressing the other side of the ledger. Shador Sanders had an interception to contend with during camp, a play critics were quick to point to as evidence he still had some developing to do. That's fair to say. Turnovers are as important as completions in terms of getting the coaches to trust you. No QB battle is won on highlight throws. Seems Shador Sanders has the best understanding of that. He has not let one mistake define the rest of his team and has continued to push forward, trying to improve the details that led to that turnover, while building off the positive moments he's shown in nearly every other session. This balance of owning the bad and improving the good is often the difference between a quarterback who is just talented and one who is willing to be the guy. What does this mean for the Shador Sanders story as he gets ready for his first start versus the Bills? Honestly, no one really knows exactly what will happen next. It is hard to predict camp conflicts. The coaches know things that we don't see, and moreover, no one practice, however impressive, guarantees anything. Shador Sanders is not going to crack under the pressure he is under. He's putting himself in a position to capitalize on every opportunity that comes his way, stacking good reps on good reps, and answering doubters with performance, not words. Whether that will be enough to completely change things remains to be seen. But from what we saw in this session, Shador Sanders is doing everything in his power to make the answer yes.
Going to get a quick little drop back here. They're showing pressure, drop back, wheel route down the sideline, drops this into a bucket towards the sideline for Gage. Love this play. So again, this route concept is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be tough to see. Let me move my camera over here. But the first thing you're going to notice is a late release at a Gage. We're going to kind of slow our step